All right, friends, I have been sitting here reading all about context, Context. Lisa Haverly here, Nature Superhero Network, in case you didn't know. Context matters, right? Where we serve our clients, okay? And oftentimes it's in more traditional spaces, right? We might provide occupational therapy services in the school setting, in a private clinic, in a rehab center, long-term care facility, in the home environment, okay? And the context matters. And I think, when we look back at our roots of OT and we think about meaningful occupation and where those occupations happen, we look to those natural spaces. And there's research to support that supporting in the natural environment is really one of the most effective ways to deliver an intervention. So my belief is that that nature, the outdoors, is certainly a natural space for children to develop. But I often think about, we were all children once. And I bet you have stories, if you're my age or certainly older, of being outdoors. A lot, perhaps. I know that's my story, where I would spend hours of time outside. And then I think somewhere along the way that disconnect starts to happen. And of course, there's different reasons that we can point to in our history that has lended itself to this disconnect from nature. For this generation right now, it really is the bringing in of all of this technology, whether it's valuable or not, right? That has furthered us from that connection with nature. And so I'm on a mission, just as you probably are, of trying to get children in particular and people of all ages to rediscover those meaningful occupations outdoors. And for children, that really means play, the occupation of play, and how valuable play is for child development. And I probably don't have to tell you the power of play. It's a necessity for childhood, in my opinion. So the context matters. And I think about children in more traditional spaces who have real challenges in regulation, right? Those capacities are not developed well enough to be able to manage the stimulation in that environment. And perhaps you're in a therapy clinic now where there is this child who just can't even handle that stimulation. Or you're working with an adult and you're like, gosh, there's nothing meaningful for this client. Have you considered nature as a viable context? And I know we may not all have, accessible nature, but nature is all around us, right? And there's even something called the biophilia design, where if you can't be out in it, what elements can you bring in? Color, plants, wide open windows with sunshine streaming in. And so, of course, my bigger mission is to reconnect people with nature, to become stewards of this earth, but also for us all to think about the context and how that can impact function and it can impact behavior. And if we are supporting children in particular who just are easily overwhelmed, what I have found in my practice is that nature can support that regulation capacity. For different pieces of evidence that has led me to that conclusion, but I have seen it firsthand over and over and over again, where either nature provided an expansive space or there was a awe and wonder moment that shifted the regulation, or there was a challenge that was overcome and the child realized that they could do it and move through the fear. So I've seen it, and so the context matters. And I want to reassure you or assure you that if you are considering nature, that it's a suitable context in whatever that needs to look like where you are. Perhaps you're a clinic owner, or you work at a clinic, and you know the value of nature, maybe for yourself, and you can see it, how valuable it can be for those you are serving in that space. Maybe you're the trailblazer. Look out your window. What's around you? Would there be something accessible? If you're opening a clinic, then I challenge you to think about your design of the space. Bring nature in. Consider the colors. Consider the simplicity of things. And making sure that whatever context you are serving your client in, it is suitable to meet their needs. And of course, I'm going to plug nature because that's what I do. All right, everybody, context matters. I've seen it here in the beautiful nature space that can be so supportive for the clients that we serve. All right, I hope this has been helpful. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you down the road.